Alright, last show of the day. And then a little bit of relaxing time.
You can do it.
I think so. Just 1 hour. 1 hour of chitty chat. What did he say we were going to talk about? The lockdown, how mandates are destroying small business, corona stupidity, government inefficiency, mask lunacy, etc. I'm sure we could easily fill up an hour just on that.
Who is this again?
Danilo, the guy that I was on the phone with that one time you walked in. Chess person.
Yeah.
Overlapping into realm stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? You might have to unmute yourself. Danilo did not connect to audio.
Yeah. So for some reason, the mic is not picking up. Like it's not picking up this mic. I don't know why.
I can hear you fine now.
Yeah, but that's through the laptop. So let me just try to get this this mic. Hold on.
Oh, your external mic isn't connecting right?
Yeah, I got an awesome. I'm a podcaster, Gary. Okay, I gotta have good quality audio. You know.
Yeah, of course. I got mine right here.
It's gotta be high quality. Oh, nice. What kind do you have?
Fine. It's not any of the, the crazy $200 mics. I just paid like.
This is like I think this cost me like $70, $80, but it's a good quality one.
Yeah, I think I spent like $30 on mine.
How much?
$20-$30.
Yeah,
I did not
good.
splurge on my mic.
No, I followed this podcaster who recommended the equipment, and yeah, he basically said like the $200 mics are not necessarily the best, so he recommended this one. So
what's the one that everybody gets? I forget what it's called. Like the most popular one.
Oh, I know why. I didn't even plug it in. My goodness, holy crap! Hold on. All right, it should come up now. What the hell? There you go.
Your audio actually sounds pretty okay.
All right, now how do I sound? Huh?
Yeah, that's definitely a little better. Yep.
What do you mean a little better? This is awesome.
Your computer mic didn't sound so bad, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is a new computer. This is I got it this year, so it should sound good. But yeah, no, it's got to be top quality. So
My computer mic is not. My computer mic is not up to standard. I've used it and it's just kind of tinny.
How long have you had your computer?
4 or 5 years. I'm using a Mac Air. I do everything on this thing. I do my chess streaming, do my shows here. It works pretty well.
A Mac Air. Yeah, I have a MacBook Pro 13-inch, and I just got this new one. I think just late last year, because in September, October last year, my MacBook Pro 13-inch died. It was a 2010 edition, 2010 version. Mm-hmm. So it lasted me 10 years, which I was pretty happy about. I did a lot, used a lot with it, and then it just died. Kind of sucked, but I was able to get all the data from it, which was awesome. And I just uploaded all that to my new one.
Did you spill soda on it or something?
What do you use to edit? What do you use to edit your videos?
I don't edit. Well, okay. I'm kind of. I don't know. All my stuff is just raw. Like I try to like not mess with it as much as possible. And people have yelled at me and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't be, going and looking at people's messages and then starting the stream so everybody can view it and all that and privacy and yada yada yada." So sometimes I do, do all that stuff beforehand, and I just don't really, I just don't edit. I don't do it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so I'm a podcaster, I'm a YouTuber, so I do a lot of editing, and I've used Final Cut Pro, and I love it. So, I kind of have slowed down on my peaceful anarchism stuff lately, focusing much more on chess, teaching, online group, private online, in-person group classes, different things like that. So
That's
I've
good.
definitely slowed down. I've done a lot more interviews than actually me interviewing people, or just short video blogs. I do that. I don't know if you've seen any of those. I do 5 to 10 minute video rants of me on various topics.
I meant to watch some of your peaceful anarchy videos, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
my
I check.
my schedule is so ridiculously full nowadays, which I'm not used to. I'm used to just kind of like moseying along and having a lot of downtime, just chilling out and doing nothing. And now, like, everything's always just going off. So it's okay though.
I checked out your Emily Moyer interview.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
you watched the whole
That's
thing?
interesting. So yeah, I listened to the whole thing.
Nice.
I have to say though, the topics that you guys were discussing, like, it's definitely a different perspective than how I would describe those things. Yeah, because I talk about it more from the perspective of Wall Street economics, of free markets, of capitalism, of anarchism, of voluntarism, of that kind of thing. Homeschooling, also I do a lot of focus on that. Peaceful parenting.
It's a definite. If you're not accustomed to sort of the way that I discuss things, then it's going to be a little bit of a. It just might be a little difficult to wrap your mind around, like how I in particular talk about things, and I always try to. I know everybody's different, so wherever you're coming from, I do my best to kind of go in the same sort of thought stream, rather than try to push everything that I've ever talked about or thought about on the other person. But the Emily Moyer type of show is like it's like as out there as you can get, and still retain sanity, because you can go really far and lose your mind, and then you can't have shows anymore because your mind is no longer working. So
Right.
yeah, so I don't know. It's different strokes, I guess. But did you have anything in particular that we talked about that was like way out there for you, or was it just how was that?
I remember parts you mentioned about I don't know, different realms or different dimensions, or I don't know. It's just something I would describe. I don't talk about that kind of stuff. It's interesting to listen to. I just really couldn't really relate to it that much. I guess I'm more, I don't know, grounded in than to talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just a different perspective.
I'm very airy. Like, my personality is airy, so it's very much. I was more so mental. I was more.
It's gonna be cool talking to you. 'Cause different perspectives.
Exactly. I was very mentally inclined when I was younger, so everything was mind, and I had to sort of learn and teach myself how to merge the sort of right side of the brain, the more feeling intuitive side, because I just hadn't really touched much of that growing up, so I had to learn how to deal with feelings in the first place.
Oh, really?
That's why I play chess, because it's like just almost, it's not all mental, but it's a lot mental, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, have you been practicing your chess 960?
No.
What?
No. I played a little bit after our match, because I was like, I need to be able to beat Danilo next time. But
I saw a guy commented on your post on Facebook, and he says, "I'd like to have a match with you." And you're like, how long have you been playing chess? You want to make sure it's not a complete destruction, annihilation, right?
yeah, well, I did. I played 1,000 rated person on one of my streams, and it was 11.
What?
It was 11-0, like, of course. But I just wanted to see how it would go. I wanted to see if he was able to sort of not lose his stuff, during that sort of annihilation. But he was fine with it. I probably won't repeat it again. It was just kind of like an experiment. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, you kind of need to be within at least 300 points, I think, rating-wise, for it not to be
Right.
likely to be an annihilation.
For it to be a good challenge.
I just got beat today. My match today was like 3.5 to 7.5. I've had some.
Oh, and what was his rating?
His rating was similar to mine across the board. It was like 2,300. He was right around 2,300 blitz and bullet. And my rating on bullet was 2,400, and then that, because I lost the match, I dropped down to like 2,360 or something after that.
Yeah.
I kind of blamed playing on the computer because I'm not good in time scrambles on the computer. I'm used to always playing on my phone.
That's right. I remember you always say that. That's so the complete opposite with me.
Yeah, it's very strange. Because I had
So,
the very last game I was winning, and then like completely winning, and even with a 1 second increment, I still lost on time.
so what is his username? I want to check out some of the games.
Let's see. His actual name is Seb Azar, but his username, let's see. That would be messages. Seb Azar.
Elfish and Twitch.
That's not him.
Oh, that's not him.
That's not him. It's Chess Lebanese Salah.
Wait! You didn't play him on Lichess?
No. Chess.com.
Oh, chess.com.
Yeah.
What? Why would you do that?
Because we both were talking about it, and I was asking him what's your lead chess handle because I assumed he would like that better because I invite everyone from leadchess.org, but he was like, oh, I don't play on there very often, and it got onto the topic of the chess.com versus lead chess, and he ended up saying that he preferred chess.com as well. So we just decided to do the match there.
Your name on chess.com is what?
Same thing, Snail Chess YT.
Snail Chess YT, right?
YT. You're not going to find it in the most recent games because I played a bunch of bullet to try to get my rating back up. But somewhere down there on the games played today, you'll see Chess Lebanese.
Alright.
Salah.
I just sent you a friend request on chess.com. Yeah.
Sweet. I got it.
I know that's what happens if I play. You agree playing a couple of games with somebody, then you end up losing rating points, and you get annoyed and infuriated. No, I can't end like this.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Evan. Like, my blitz rating when I played him was like 2270, and then his was 2240 or something, and then he ended up, winning 3-8 or something like that. So I lost a bunch of points.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, but I don't know. I've always thought about like how do you actually get wins? Like, what is it that's actually producing the win? If the rating itself is not like somehow indicative that you're better than that person, then what is it that's actually going on there? It's interesting to look into the psychology of it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Maybe we can talk about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
is it? So I was gonna say, is it okay if I record also?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Cool.
Is this going on your channel? YouTube?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So you're just gonna record through Zoom, right?
Well, we're actually live. I don't know if I let you know about that.
Oh, we're live now.
We're live.
Cool.
We have 8 people. My YouTube people are like, they're not chess people, but so we can't just talk about chess because none of them will be interested. But a little bit of
so we started already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I thought you were gonna give like an introduction or something.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to explain in the beginning. Is like I just go. You just press.
Oh.
Press start.
All right. So I gotta give you. You gotta give permission before it seems.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the Snail Show with Danilo Cuellar.
Awesome.
How's that? Did I pronounce your name right?
Danilo Cuellar.
Cuellar. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to give you permission to share screen. Is that what you wanted?
To record.
Okay, so I need to find you and then probably go from there.
You see it pop up in Zoom or something?
More, allow record. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't ever use Zoom for recording. I just, if I'm going to record, I'll use QuickTime and just screenshot the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that next time we do our match, I guess I could just use QuickTime to record my games.
QuickTime looks good.
Live and streaming that.
I feel like there are so many options to record and to edit and to this and that. There's just so many. I just find whatever's the simplest and the easiest and try to go with that.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I have something that has worked in the past, then I'll use it until it no longer works.
So, say anything. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? You pick the topic.
Okay.
Any questions? Any questions the listeners have or whatever?
Someone says the sound is very quiet. I hope my mic is not screwing up somehow. I have the volume on this as loud as it can go.
Can you can hear me okay, right?
I can hear you fine. Can you guys
Excellent.
hear us okay? Is the sound quiet for everybody?
So how do I? Where do I go to watch the stream? Is it YouTube?
Yeah, just go find my name. It's just the channel name is also my name, just Gary Warmerdam on YouTube, and you should see that it's live. And if you just turn the volume down, so we don't have feedback, then you can read comments and stuff like that.
Right. Gary Warmerdam. Nice, awesome. Snail show.
Yep. They say that the sound is good now. I guess I did something. That's good to hear. Okay. So we're the what do you call it? Different realms you were talking about. You know, you heard me and Emily mention. So we're merging realms after a fashion now because you're being exposed to at least the sort of thought stream that you're not necessarily 100% accustomed to, right? So when I say dimensions, I don't necessarily mean like here we are in the 3D and another dimension is like 4D or some other entire universe or another aspect of the multiverse. I don't mean that. I mean that it's like it's thought dimensions basically. So like you have inside of your mind how you think. You have a whole conglomeration of like accepted norms of what's like what's normal, what's not normal, what's too crazy to talk about, and things like that. And I have a completely different one, right? So when I say different dimensions, it's just like you are a dimension unto yourself. I'm a dimension unto myself. So we're merging the dimensions, kind of like that.
So you're saying a conversation between two people is a merging of dimensions?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely. I can go along with that. Yeah. Well, let me give you some background with myself, just so everyone is familiar with where I come from. So I have two kids, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm an acupuncturist, Chinese herbalist, massage therapist, Eastern nutritionist, also a chess coach, and a piano teacher as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
awesome.
I'm also a podcaster, YouTube channel, website called Peaceful Anarchism. PeacefulAnarchism.com. Say again?
Yeah, I'll put that in the description thing so people can access.
Yeah. So and I started that podcast about around when my son was born, 2000. Well, let's say 2011, 12, around there. I started doing a lot of reading and investigation into the economy, precious metals, monetary history, the Federal Reserve, central banking, anarchism, voluntarism, capitalism, free markets, peaceful parenting, homeschooling, unschooling.
You said unschooling?
Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, I did a lot of reading and research, and so as a result of that, we chose to homeschool our kids, and so our kids have never been to daycare, pre-K, kindergarten, nothing. They haven't been anywhere, and I've been the stay-at-home father for the most part. But lately, I've been teaching more chess, which is really nice. Been earning more income through that, which my wife is very happy about. She's been the full-time worker from home, which is really cool. And I've been doing a lot of interviews. Yeah, and I've interviewed about 150 different people over the years. I've slowed down a lot though recently because it doesn't really earn that much income. I mean, I do get some donations, which is nice. But it's not really a big income maker. So that's why I kind of slowed down and focused a little bit more on my on chess teaching, which is a little bit more lucrative. Yeah, I mean, I still do short interviews and everything. Short video blogs, 5 to 10 minute stuff on various topics, and I have all those on my channel. And actually, incidentally, I also have I probably have 10 or 15 unedited videos that are there's from years ago that I just haven't gotten a chance to edit and upload. And because I'm such a perfectionist, I'm not gonna release. You know how you said that you release stuff, you don't even edit it, you just release it raw. I would never do that. I never ever do that. I have my intro, I got my outro. Well, yeah, I got some, different ads I like to put on, and I edit and I put a nice layover. I make it look nice, So I'd have to do all that before I actually upload it. So
would you say you're a perfectionist across the board in everything that you do, or is it just your type of public output type things?
I think in most things I am like with piano. I was interested in piano and chess around the same time. Around 12 is when I really took off with chess and piano, and I just devoured chess books, one after the other, and I went to chess tournaments. I would play hours and hours online as a teenager in the late 90s, and I improved really quickly because I was dedicated, right? Same thing with piano. My parents never had to tell me to practice piano. I loved it, and I practiced hours a day. In the morning, I'd practice an hour before school, which pissed off my parents, and then after school, I would come home 2 hours after school every day, and that's just because I loved it, right? So yeah, I guess you can say a perfectionist in many different things. I felt like if somebody told me that I couldn't learn a particular piece because it was too advanced for me, too difficult, I would take that as a challenge and learn it anyway.
Yeah, you got that.
So that's just how I am.
I have the same thing. If somebody says I can't do something, then I have to go do it and prove them wrong immediately.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely like that. I don't really take no for an answer, or this is impossible. There's one of my favorite quotes is the person who says it's impossible should not interrupt the person who's doing it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's one of my favorite quotes there.
That's a good one.
So yeah, that's kind of my life. Yeah, you could say a perfectionist in many ways. I'm also a big writer. I enjoy writing a lot. Philosophy, I got interested in as a teenager. Philosophy, astronomy, cosmology, theoretical physics, Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy. So that kind of was a precursor to me studying Chinese medicine, because I was interested in Eastern philosophy as a kid. So Taoism was a big interest of mine, and you could say that Lao Tzu, who was the founder of Taoism about 2,500 years ago, was the first anarchist or a small government guy, right?
So you equate anarchism with more so with allowing things to unfold naturally rather than because that's what the Tao is, yeah. So
Taoism, Taoism is about the natural law, right? Yin and yang, and how in nature there's always balance. Everything tends towards balance, and also there's something called spontaneous order, which is a concept that says that things tend towards an equilibrium without an overarching controlling entity. Like, for example, the state would be an overarching controlling entity dictating what can and cannot happen. And what anarchism is trying to describe is that, for example, the economy, right? How people buy, sell, and trade all over the world, right? Amazing amounts of things are achieved in terms of trade, and people have been lifted out of poverty over the past century, not because of the mandates and laws of the state, but rather because spontaneous order, because people come together to buy, sell, and trade, and in so doing, create a standard of living that the world has never seen. Right? We have created such vast amounts of wealth in our modern day industrial society that people are quickly being brought out of poverty. And of course, there's still people in poverty, but go back 100 years, and people were barely able to, or we were barely able to support 1 billion people on the planet. Now we're able to support nearly 8 billion people. And not only that, but with a vast amount of excess of resources and food available, such that we are wasting so much food that can help feed the poor if it was redirected. And of course, much of that waste is due to the state meddling and interfering and preventing the wise use of those resources. So yes, that's what I mean when I say anarchism. Basically, anarchism is the skeletal definition of anarchism is no rulers, right? So people often confuse that with no rules, right? There are rules in society. There's laws of nature, gravity, whatever, electromagnetism, the planetary motion. There's laws everywhere. There's rules everywhere, right? Rules is not necessarily imposed by a coercive hierarchical structure such as the state, right? There's rules like in the chess club. There's rules in chess. Even there's rules, right? There's rules all over the place. But in an absence, what we mean by anarchism is an absence of rulers or political masters,
So no centralized power.
Centralized power. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yes.
Centralized power. Yeah. And we're not. And anarchism is not even against hierarchy either, because you go to you go to work at McDonald's and there's a manager and he does different things than the guy that the cashier, right? So you can't say that the guy cashier is equal to the manager because they have different skills. So there's nothing against hierarchy, but when you talk about coercive hierarchy in terms of the state, then that's a big difference, right? That's saying that these human beings are able to boss those human beings around at the point of a gun, basically.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Right. When the rules are, I think when the rules need to be enforced, when you need to bring force in to basically to rationalize your rule set, because if you didn't do that, then people would just do whatever they wanted, so to speak, from the controller point of view. Whereas I think the anarchism belief more would say people have their own innate rule structure inside of their own minds, and there is a sense of equity and balance that you already are born with, and everyone knows, like, if somebody's being mean to you, or you're being bullied, you're being bullied. It's not like I need to go look up in the dictionary, like, what's the definition of me being bullied, and then, yes, I can check that box off, and now I know I'm being bullied. You already know that. So the idea with anarchism, I assume, would be that, or peaceful anarchism would be that, like you said, it tends toward balance the whole system, rather than some sort of entropy or some sort of destructive way. And you do need little bits of admonishment here or there, or you need some conversations here or there. But for the most part, you don't need a huge, monstrous, centralized thing that's issuing arbitrary stuff. And this probably could lead into the COVID discussion, because that's exactly what's happening. Is the big centralized monster is saying things, and people are not agreeing with it. I don't agree with it. Many people don't agree with it. Top to bottom of the whole entire thing, right?
Right. Oh, definitely. I mean, there's so much to say about that. The idea that people believe that order comes out of coercive mandates via the state is completely upside down, right? Really, what creates chaos is the state coming in and imposing its arbitrary laws and mandates onto people of all different, diverse backgrounds, all different needs, wants, and desires, and you're trying to conform everyone to fit these rules that are both antiquated and archaic and how do you say, and inefficient, and they just can't be applied to everybody, because everybody has different, everybody comes from a different place. Now, here's another thing that's interesting, is that for example, if I go into your house, right, I assume, even if you're renting, I assume that's your property. That's your home, that you get to set the rules in your home, right? I can't go to your house and, just do something that really annoys you. I don't know, walk around your house with muddy boots or something, right? I can't go to your house because there's rules at your house, and I have to respect that, right? So so as a private property owner, you get to set the rules in your private property, and that makes sense, right? Your body is your property as well, right? So you don't have, nobody has the right to do anything to your body that you don't consent to, right? And that a logical extension of that is your property in terms of your home, and as well your business, right? If you have a business, you can do whatever you want with your business. Now, this really angers a lot of liberals and feminists and social justice warriors because they say no, you can't discriminate, right? You can't just serve white people, you can't just serve black people, you can't just serve women or whatever. But what I tell people is, yes, they can. Like, are there rules that say that I have to have a certain number of black friends or Jewish friends or Hispanic friends? Of course not, right? I can be friends with whoever I want.
Exactly.
And you know what? There probably are racists. Like okay, when I say the term racist, that's way overused in this society. I'm talking about real, race-hating people, like what the KKK represents. That's to me what a racist is, and I genuinely think there's very few people alive today that think that that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I think that's such an antiquated idea. Sorry, go ahead.
I would definitely agree. I think what we're part of what you're saying is this idea that you can take a notion or a rule set and generalize it across the board in any situation, because it just doesn't make sense. It's like having a class of kids that's 30. There are 30 children, and you just order medium shirts for the entire class. Like,
right.
it really is ridiculous when you think of trying to apply a generalization across the board of a diverse population. You are literally, you may not know it, but you're creating chaos simply by ordering 30 medium shirts. Like, you're just you're
right.
creating it out of thin air. It doesn't exist before.
Right. Oh yeah, that's exactly how I view government school. It's a one-size-fits-all situation to kids who have a large, diverse needs and wants, situation, right? So how can one classroom with one teacher, maybe one assistant, how can they tailor the lecture or the lesson to 20 or 30 different kids in the class? Of course they can't, right? Of course they have to appeal to the most basic common denominator, and then of course the brightest kids get left behind in the dust, right? And so yeah, that's one major reason why we decided to homeschool, right? Because there's just that's even besides all the the government inefficiency and the fact that it's like basically you put your kid in government school, and it's like being babysat by other people. Like, I didn't have kids for other people to raise them.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to raise my kids.
Exactly. I had the same thought. It's some place for them to be.
Right.
And you're paying for babysitting, and the reason it's babysitting is because the educational value is very low, right? Like, if they were being taught, not just whatever, I don't even know what they teach in there anymore. I know when I was in school, anything that I learned did not come from school. Like, there was no
right.
debate whatsoever. Everything that I learned was because I had a curiosity about something, and I went and I figured it out myself. Just had nothing to do with school. I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled till I was like mid-7th grade, and then I went to public school and found out what that was like. Wasn't a fan. I liked homeschooling. Like, it was fine. But even so, like, I don't know if you picked the curriculum. Do you pick the curriculum for your kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's very custom made, tailored. We don't do a specific structure. Definitely not. That's why it's very related to unschooling, which is pretty unstructured. But we're not completely unstructured. I mean, we do have workbooks and math and writing and science and different things. But we use different resources. Like, they have different websites. They use chess is a big part of the homeschooling. Chess Kid, Lee Chess, chess.com. I got this Coach J's Chess Academy. So we do a lot of stuff with chess, and and then different workbooks, different math websites. We have a science website that we do, and then they get like these crates where they can construct things. So that kind of helps with STEM stuff, and that's really cool. They love that. They create different projects. My son actually just took a couple of months ago. He's 10 years old, right? He just took an electrical engineering course. Yeah. And it wasn't even just for kids. Like, there were adults in this course.
Oh, yeah.
And he loved it. He loved it. And he made some really awesome creations, and pretty impressive. And he's really interested in that, in figuring out how things work, how to wire things, and, you know, creating... Yeah. Basically inventing things. Like that's what this course was encouraging. Like you know, to be an inventor. Think about something that you would like, you know, a problem that you would like to solve, and then create an invention to solve the problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And he loved it. So yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. The thought just flew out of my head. Oh, I was gonna say. In school, like, you know how some schools have shop class, some high schools,
right.
They have shop, right? I never took any class like that. And my feeling is that school should be like all shop classes. And when I say that, I don't mean making things out of wood necessarily. There should be a chess class, there should be a piano class, there should be a explore in the woods and learn flora and fauna class, there should be a look up at the stars and try to figure out what's going on with their class. Like, not just... There's so much stale stuff that is... And then it's just the regurgitating facts type nonsense, right? Like, that is not helpful. If you're trying to produce drone slaves for your society, then it's very, very helpful and effective. If you want to have someone who's creative and who can create things and who can allow their own unique personality traits to help benefit the society, you don't do that. You don't have them read about Christopher Columbus in 1490, whatever, 2. I remember any of that. But like it's just garbage. It's nonsense. Like, how is any of this stuff helping? I don't.
It's not. It's not. And I think you're right. You have to think about what is the goal of this. Is the goal really to create creative, independent minding, critical thinking individuals? No, I don't think so. I think the goal is to create people that learn their place and that follow orders and get in line and do not question. Right?
You need someone for the nanny state to take care of, right? So you need to teach people how to wear diapers, basically. Wear the diaper, and then the state is going to nanny you, and then basically you'll be fine the rest of your life. And it's just like, no,
right?
No,
or either that, or become an order follower, like more specifically in terms of law enforcement or the military, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the epitome of being an order follower, just not questioning anything. You know, whatever the politician says, whatever laws are passed, that's what I'm going to enforce. You know, whatever they tell me, whoever, you know, people they tell me to bomb and kill, that's what I'm going to go bomb and kill. No questions asked. And what happens if you ask a question? Court-martial, and you get thrown out, right? So it does not allow for dissent and for critical thought whatsoever.
Yeah, and if you think about it, right, if you think about it in terms of an argument, right, like if we're having an argument, it's a sign of like the lowest amount of actual power in an argument if the person needs to like try and shut you up, like, no, Danilo, I'm going to turn this off. I don't like what you're saying. I'm going to cancel you, okay?
Right.
Like, in terms of how we understand interpersonal relationships and arguments or debates or whatever, it's the bottom of the bucket in terms of a tactic, right? And that's what's happening out there. It's bottom of the bucket nonsense. You know, all these people being deleted, Twitter accounts being deleted, silencing voices. It's bad.
Yeah, you know, that is very sad how people are getting silenced all over the place. I mean, in one sense, you can say that that's actually a badge of honor if you get silenced, because that means that you have something that's worthy of saying that is challenging or making people in power feel uncomfortable, right? And so I would take that as a badge of honor. By the way, my Peaceful Anarchism Facebook page was deleted, unpublished off of Facebook. I had like 13,000 likes, and I think it was October of 2018, they did like a mass deletion of like freedom-minded pages and anarchist pages, and I was one of those. It's like eight. Do you remember that? There's 800 different pages.
I
that
don't
were
remember
deleted.
that specific one, but I remember you telling me that happened. Did they give
I
you
told you
any
that, yeah.
reason? Did they give you any justification for?
So they just said they just unpublished. I remember. I think I took a screenshot of it. I was so shocked at it. And they said you could appeal it, which I did. I wrote out a little thing, and I appealed, and never heard from them again. So I couldn't get it back, and it was so sad. I had so many likes. I had so many people following it. I had nice posts on there. So I just decided to create it again. So now I just created again from scratch, and now I have like almost 3,000 likes on it. And you just continue moving forward. People try to silence you, try to censor you. You just continue, create another one, create another one, create another one. Right?
Yeah.
Like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, yeah. It's really that's an interesting point, because I feel like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you buy into, oh God, like some big powerful person doesn't want me, saying what I'm saying, so I better just shut up because they shut my account down, rather than like treat it as if, oh, this is a weak individual or organization that is scared of whatever I'm saying, which implies that I have more power than them just because of what they did, and therefore I'll just go open a new thing somewhere else and see what happens with that. Like, you can buy into whatever is being pushed out, and you fulfill the prophecy yourself, rather than just, oh, I'll just go start it somewhere else. Not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, people who do not want to hear dissenting opinions, they really demonstrate themselves to have narrow minds and just unenlightened people, just people who don't want to critically think about anything. They're happy to be in their echo chamber, right? They're happy to only listen to people that agree with them.
Yeah.
And that's a very scary situation. You need to have all different kinds of people. This is what elevates civilization. This is what advances knowledge, right? Is where people can debate and argue, and everybody can see everybody's opinion, and then you test and you do rigorous analysis, and then only the best opinions will survive, right? Mm-hmm. This is how society moves forward, right? I mean, tell me any instance in history where there was book burning and censorship and silencing of opinions, and that helped progress society. That helped progress humanity moving forward. I don't think you can name an instance. It's most of the time when there was like tyrannical, authoritarian regimes or dictatorships that just refused to hear any criticism. Right?
Exactly. I remember I used to listen to Alan Watts all the time, and he had a...
Oh, Alan Watts, I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah. He had a story where he was talking about this idea of people in power being threatened by people openly communicating and putting forth ideas and stuff like that. He was saying,
oh yeah,
in France or Spain or whatever, Europe when it was in the creative boom or whatever, not in the dark ages. He said there'd be like a town square where these guys and gals would come out, and cops would be around. All London or whatever, cops would be around, and these people would be screaming out how the government is shit, and they're just out to get us, and this and that, talking crap on the government basically with the guards right there, and the guards would just allow it. They wouldn't care at all. They'd be like, "That's your right to speak, and so long as you're not hurting anybody, more power to you." And his idea with that was that those in power at that time were not insecure in their power. That's a big difference. If you are in power and you are being fair enough to the masses, right, where they feel like they have a fair shake at things, then you don't mind if someone is sitting there and criticizing you. So you tell your henchmen to allow free speech. Whereas the alternative to that is, oh, this person is being treasonous, so make up an excuse and haul them into jail or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of funny how such violence is brought upon people who are simply talking, simply engaging in conversation. And, it's one thing to, shut down their website or their Facebook page or whatever, but then to actually arrest them and imprison them for expressing opinions, for just speaking, is pretty amazing, right? Like think of the most the most hostile and the most ugly opinions you can think of, like, I don't know, genuine Nazism, right, or genuine, racism, whatever, right? People can say that now, like you can like a person can have a YouTube channel and he could be a genuine Nazi, right? You could hate whatever Jews and handicapped people, whatever, and a guy could have a YouTube channel be a genuine racist. Okay, so does that mean everyone's going to become a racist because these people have YouTube channels? Of course not. People understand that these ideologies are antiquated and defunct and no longer valid. So why are these people in power so afraid of ideas, of words? So and I think the reason is because they see that slowly people are realizing, especially with this lockdown, especially with the whole coronavirus fiasco, that that the state is showing itself to be an irrelevant and an obsolete institution. And so just to reveal a little bit more about myself, so we don't vaccinate our kids at all, and we never did, and so of course we are completely against the coronavirus vaccine right now. And so I was talking to my wife recently, and she was saying that one of the reasons that they're shutting down and unpublishing people that are talking negatively about the coronavirus lockdown and the vaccines, they're unpublishing people, a lot of these people from Facebook, big people, is because the conversion rate of people who are pro-vaccine and then to people who are to making them anti-vaccine is 500. Like for every 500 people, like they're able to convert people to the anti-vaccine status, whereas very few of the people are going the other way. Very few of the people, and so it seems to me that that's what they're afraid of. They see this rejection of the state propaganda, and that it's growing and it's becoming more ubiquitous, and it's spreading. Ideas spread. It's like there's that quote. I forget it was Victor something. Victor something. He said, more powerful than a standing army is an idea whose time has come. Right? So that seems to me why they're unpublishing and silencing these people, because they see that more and more people are beginning to see the weaknesses and the faults of the state and its propaganda.
Yeah, it's like the ship is sinking and they're trying to do the proverbial rearranging the deck chairs and see if they can fix it somehow. And it's
rearrange the deck chairs.
Trying anything. It feels like sort of desperation mode, because the tendency of this system, since propaganda started, at least en masse, which was when the television was created somewhere in the mid 1900s, and it was turned into a mind control weapon, and
right.
Since then, it has been trending downwards in terms of whatever they're pumping out into people's minds being like tenable to any sort of logic. And that ship seems to me to now be fully self-destructing. And when you look at heads of policy, when you look at the presidential thing, that debacle that's going on, or whatever is going on there, I don't even know what's going on there, but it's nothing that you can look at and even take one of the two sides offered and be proud of either way that's happening. Like it's just too ugly to even look at anymore. And that's not a good sign if these people or this system is supposed to be looking out for people's best interests. It's not a good sign if you don't even want to look at the thing that's going on.
Yeah. I mean, the president. I haven't voted since 2008. That was the only time I ever voted in my life for Obama.
I think
the only reason I voted for. Say again.
I think I voted one time in my life, and then I was like, "This is nonsense."
This is hazardous to my health.
Yeah.
I tell people. What did you say?
Yeah. It's hazardous.
I tell people. If you go home and wash your dishes, you're going to do more for the world than voting in any election. Go clean your house, okay? You're more productive. You're going to spread more good in the world by cleaning your house, washing dishes, raising your kids well, not spanking, not hitting them, than you will ever voting for anybody.
Yeah. Completely agree.
So I voted for Obama just because at that time I wasn't really like politically motivated at all. I was, for the most part of my life before then, I was politically indifferent, where I just didn't care about politics. It just felt like it didn't affect me. I was focusing more on my studies, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, and then chess, piano. That was what I was interested and passionate about. I didn't care about politics. But my mother is a hardcore Democrat / liberal. Lately, she describes herself more as a socialist. Bernie Sanders supporter, which we butted heads quite a bit, and so when I remember in 2008, she was like, "You should go vote." I'm like, "All right, I'll vote. Who should I vote for?" She's like, "Obama." So I did. So I voted for Obama, and then I tell people that that's my one sin, and I have atoned for my sin ever since. And I've never voted for it again. I will never vote again. The kind of the way I look at voting is. Number one, it's a slave request for a new slave master. That's one way I look at it. But another way is people attempting to impose their will forcefully upon their neighbor via the state, using politicians, right? And to me, that just seems immoral. To me, if you want to make a change in the world, you want to change people's beliefs about something. Why don't you do it in a way that doesn't require force, right? Why don't you open a YouTube channel? Why don't you start a podcast? Why don't you start a website or a blog, or just write articles, or just talk to your neighbor, talk to friends, open a club or something. Why do you got to use the force of the state to impose your will on your neighbor? That's just, to me, it seems cowardly. It seems the act of people that are desperate and have no other way of relating to their neighbor. It's like that neighbor that like never talks to their other neighbors and just interacts with them by like calling the police every once in a while because they don't like what their neighbor's doing.
Yeah,
that's
situations like that before.
Say again?
We've been in those situations many times.
Oh,
people don't know how to relate.
I will never ever call the police on anyone. Never. I do not ever think that there's reason or justification. I mean, even if I'm in a car accident, I hesitate. Maybe the other person will, but I don't know. I even like fell down one time. Like I fainted and I fell on the floor and I like busted open my eyebrow right here. I was bleeding on the floor. My wife, panic called 911. And when I woke up, I'm like, no, hang up the phone. And then, but she already called it, so they came. It was police officers and these EMT people and the police officer. I'm like, I don't want to go to the hospital. No, I don't want to go to the hospital. And then the police officers were like, "You're gonna go the easy way, or the hard way." And I'm like, "Oh my god,
are you serious?"
So, yeah, that's what happened to me. So
they forced you to go to the hospital when you had a head bang.
Forcing me to go to the hospital, yeah. And I'm like, I'm just gonna put some honey on it. Don't worry. I guess in hindsight, it might have been a good idea because they did give me stitches. Mm-hmm. But in the hospital, they want to do all these tests on me. I'm like, no. They wanted to give me some tetanus vaccine. No. And then the woman who was going to do the stitches, she was visibly annoyed and frustrated with me because I was saying no to everything. and when they did the stitches, they were supposed to tell me how many stitches they put in, but she didn't tell me. And I'm thinking because she was so angry with me and annoyed because my boss, who was a physician, he cut out the stitches and he's like, "How many did they put in?" And I'm like, she didn't tell me. She's like, "What? They're supposed to tell you every time they put stitches. They tell you how many." So you can, I don't know. She seemed pretty angry with me.
What's the purpose of telling you the number of stitches? So you don't miss one.
So that when they take it out, they know how many to take out. Well, and it was especially difficult because it was like right in my eyebrow hairline.
So they can miss.
And the stitches. Say again?
You could miss one. That's what you're saying. Like you want.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You can miss one. Yeah, and the stitches were black, and my eyebrow hairs are black.
Wow.
So, conclusion: I will never call the police on anyone. To me, calling the police on someone is like attracting a 900-pound grizzly bear and thinking that that will attack your friend or the people that you hate, you know? And it's like, well, no, you can attract it, but then after you attract it, you have no control over what it does after that.
Exactly. And
So, yeah.
the whole voting thing is so ridiculous because, number one, anyone that has done any research knows that those candidates are just, like, chosen somehow.
Right.
And also, number two, you have to have a ton of money in order to even run. And then number
Right.
three, the idea of getting to choose from one of two, even if the two are the best possible leadership qualities people in the world, it's nonsense. Like, two choices, and then number 10 billion, like, one person cannot manage 300 million people.
Exactly. Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. That's the antiquation you're talking about. The system is fully antiquated. Everyone can see through it now. It's not about anything other than control. And it is. It's time for something new to come in. I don't know what's going to come in, but something new has to happen.
I mean, just think about this. Do you think that the internet lacks centralized authority directing it? Like, do you think the internet needs a government bureau or agency that dictates, you know, what websites can be, what websites cannot be, you know, what we can say on the internet, what we can't say on the internet, you know? Like, is that what the internet lacks, you know?
Yeah, right.
Or is the internet so magnificent and beautiful because it doesn't have an overarching centralized authority dictating all those things, right?
You know what I actually think with regards to the internet? I think they can't control it. It's too big and unpredictable, and there's too many people doing too many different things for them to actually be able to control it. There's not enough people to manage it. That's why crypto is interesting, because it operates under the same philosophy, which is decentralized power. It's the same philosophy.
Oh yeah. Decentralization is the key, is the way, and going along that line is cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I'm sure you've heard of these.
Oh yeah.
Do you know anything about cryptocurrency or Bitcoin?
Yeah, I kind of dabble. I bought like $3,000 worth of Bitcoin at some point, but it was wrong timing apparently because it dropped, and at that point I actually needed the money. Now I know if I want to invest, I need to invest money that I don't need to live on, basically. So you can't invest if you don't have any money in savings. It doesn't make any sense because you might lose it. And so on and so forth. But I did dabble. I looked into, you know, what crypto is actually. You know, I tried to understand it as best as I could. We're all in like a free. We're in what do you call it? Pi crypto mines from your phone, and it's like a social network at the same time. So you can remind your friends to mine. You just hit one button per day, and it mines, you know, certain amount of coins per day. It's interesting. Crypto is very interesting.
Yeah. So I've interviewed a lot of cryptocurrency specialists and Bitcoin specialists, and it's really fascinating. And you know, one of the roots of control that the state has over people is control of the money supply, or more specifically, the currency supply. Because you know, if you have control over that, that's like the lifeblood of the economy, right? Just imagine, you know, we all are forced to use Federal Reserve notes, right, or U.S. dollars, because of legal tender laws, because the state has said this is what everyone's going to use, and if you don't use it, you go to jail, right? Legal tender laws. You cannot pay your debts. You cannot go to the grocery store and pay with Bitcoin or pay with gold or pay with silver. You must pay with Federal Reserve notes or U.S. dollars, right? And that's an amazing amount of control. And what cryptocurrency and Bitcoin does is they really take away that power, right? They decentralize that power, and now that power is disseminated all over the internet and in all the people that actually use it. And there is no centralized authority, therefore it cannot be shut down. In order to shut down cryptocurrency, they would have to shut down the internet, which is impossible. And really, what's really amazing about, I mean, I know Bitcoin, the most about Bitcoin, but, you know, there's thousands and thousands of different cryptocurrencies. And what's amazing about it is, number one, nobody's forced to use it, right? So therefore, how does it get value, right? That's the question. Where does the value come from? You know, if nobody's forced to use it, why are people using it? And why does it have value? These are amazing questions. And to me, my answer to that is, people are using it because they recognize the many different advantages and benefits they have to using it. Ease of transaction, transferring value over long distances without fees, without having to go through a third-party central or a bank, right? Without having to ask permission, or no fear of the state garnishing your funds if you said the wrong thing or if you did the wrong thing, So complete anonymity, for the most part. And so businesses love it, right? So people slowly, many more people are being attracted to this anonymous and decentralized currency, and it's really taking over the world. And the more people begin to use it, the less stranglehold of power the Federal Reserve note, the U.S. dollar, is having on people, right? And this is a wonderful thing, right? And that is doing a lot to really weaken at the foundation the U.S. empire, right? And so I'm really hopeful and grateful for cryptocurrencies as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you, by chance, use crypto in transactions at all, or is it just more of a investment type?
So over the years, I've known about Bitcoin and crypto, and I've interviewed people, but I haven't been investing as much. Definitely not as much as you. I invested here and there, but much more of over the years, what I've invested in is precious metals, specifically silver. Mm-hmm. I'm a big precious metals guy. I bought a lot of silver. I used to go when my son was like 1 and 2. He used to go to the gold silver shop, and he loved it, right? Because it's like all antique, toys and cars and everything. And he'd be like this with his cars, and I'd be talking with the dealer and just talking about the Federal Reserve and inflation, and talking about the price of this and the price of that, and it was great. I picked his brain. See, this is the thing that I really enjoy, right? I really enjoy going to a place and meeting somebody who's a master of their craft, right? And I go to these deep precious metals dealers. They know so much about precious metals, and I love going there and just picking their brain, asking them questions, see how much they know, right? And over the time, you develop a relationship, and they trust you, you trust them, and because people are always saying, what if they sell you counterfeit? I mean, it's true. People do make counterfeit coins and bars. It's more like the expensive, gold coin or gold bars, but not really the small, silver coins. But it does happen. But, that's why you have to talk to people. You have to develop a relationship. And, you trust in mutual trust. And so it's really cool, So over the years, I've really developed a relationship with various gold, silver dealers. And so I've acquired a good amount. But recently, I think, we're trying to get more into cryptocurrency because it's also good. It's simultaneously is a good investment because you just hold your currency, you hold your wealth in currency, you will lose over time. Inevitably, you will lose. Right? Inflation is constantly eating away at the value, the purchasing power of your Federal Reserve notes. Right? That's inevitable. That's without a doubt. So putting your wealth in cryptocurrency is a great protection against inflation, as well as keeping your currency anonymous, right? It's such a wonderful thing to keep your wealth outside of the banking system, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of the major banks, right? That is how people can be controlled, right? That is how the state can reach into your account and just take anything they want because you've been a bad boy, Gary. You've said some bad things on the internet.
They haven't tried it yet.
So,
knock on wood.
Say again?
They haven't tried it yet.
They haven't tried it yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So cryptocurrency accomplishes many goals, many things simultaneously, and that's what I love about it. And same thing with silver. Like how could they? They don't know. The state doesn't know how much precious metals you own, right? That's awesome. That's amazing. Make sure you purchase precious metals. You don't put it in a vault in Chase, okay? Please don't do that. That's kind of counterproductive.
We've talked a little bit about getting some silver. We may at some point. I think though, just diversification. Like that's what I've been working on lately. Is I have a little bit of money here. I have a little bit of money there. We're making plans toward getting a piece of land and starting building that out. I know real estate and holding land is always good investment. So it's just like,
that's cool.
Yeah, just diversify. Diversify yourself, and also in terms of experience, like go do new things, go talk to new people. Just you want to expand yourself out. That's my idea.
Did you just curious? Did you go to university or college?
Yeah, I went to Fresno State for 3.5 years. I was studying liberal studies, which for me, in hindsight, was not actually, like, I should have gotten into some sort of engineering or something, because that's where my mind is good at, and it makes decent money. Like, if I was gonna try, the rat race, climb the thing, but I did.
Yeah.
I ended up trying to be a teacher because that's what the whole rest of my family did, so it was familiar to me. But I ended up, I dropped out because I had started an eBay business while I was in there, and that business took off, and I was making all kinds of money, and I was like, why am I paying money to go to get taught enough, to get brainwashed, when I can just spend my time over here making money and, finding some freedom.
And so I assume your family was not happy with that decision to leave.
No,
college.
I mean, yeah, not really. My dad wasn't so happy with it, but, got to break free at some point.
Right. So liberal arts, was that your choice, or was that your parents, your family's choice?
I mean, if you think in terms of sort of implied persuasive tactics, then probably it was, somewhat. Not my mom even, just my dad. Like, that was always what he was harping on. He still tries to harp on it now, but now I'm actually in a trade. I'm doing hardwood flooring, and I love it.
And how'd you learn that?
Doing it. Well,
cool.
I had two months of not even hardwood flooring, just general construction experience from California, and I came over here, and someone had put an ad out that they were looking for someone to do hardwood flooring, and I went and talked to him, told him I had 2 months of experience, but that I learned fast. Then he gave me the job within like 5 minutes of the conversation.
Whoa.
And yeah, I didn't know any of it, really. I didn't know how to do any of it, and I just that's how you learn. You learn by doing the thing alongside someone else who knows how to do the thing. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
Not through a book. If I tried to read a book on how to install a hardwood floor and then went and tried to do any of it, it would have been absolutely useless. Like,
right. Exactly.
It doesn't work.
And that brings up another wonderful topic, a very large topic, which is the value of colleges and universities right now. I'm sure you would say they're essential for the future of our kids, right?
Well, the whole system needs to undergo some changes. I feel like colleges and universities are literally placeholders to keep people out of the workforce, because there's not enough work for everybody. There really isn't enough. There's so much busybody nonsense that goes on. What people get paid for, they sit in cubicles and make records, and then they make records of the records, and that starts multiplying on itself. And you need someone to take care of, all the people taking records of everything. And it's just like, you have so much just fluffy nonsense and people are just wasting away. They're not living. They're stuck inside their little box, taking notes and talking on the phone. We have a long ways to go. The people just need to be able to be allowed to be alive. Don't have the system try to coerce you into a box all day. Don't have to stare into your TV box and watch other people live their lives all day. You can live. We're allowed to live.
Yeah. So what's interesting, how my life turned out right now is I went to college for 6 years, 15 trimesters to learn massage therapy, acupuncture, Chinese herbal medicine, and Eastern nutrition, right? And I got a master's degree in all of that. And what's funny is, right now, I'm not making any income with that at all. Zero.
Of course you're not.
When I'm making more income right now doing something that I taught myself. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Taught myself because I loved it, because I was passionate about it when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. And I had no idea that this would lead to an income source later in life. No idea. All I did was I was just studying because I love chess. I'm going to study chess. This is pretty cool. And now I'm doing pretty nice side income. It's basically a part-time job. Is what, like, my income right now is basically like a part-time job, which is pretty amazing. You think about that. I didn't go to college for this stuff, for chess. There's no chess in college. University degree in chess, no.
I know.
And same thing with you, right? You 2 months of experience, and now you're making an income doing that, and very self. So really, what does it take, right, to support yourself, right, and earn income? It takes dedication, and it takes a desire to learn something new, and to just be humble and say, you know what, I don't know this, I'm going to learn it, right? I'm going to figure it out, do what it takes, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's basically what business is. Like, do you think the most successful business owners had business degrees in college?
No.
or most of them dropouts,
yeah.
And they just started it themselves, and they're like, I'm just going to see where this goes.
Yeah. It's because those business owners need people underneath them, and if everyone tries to be the business owner, then there's not going to be any workers. So they all got their heads together and said, how can we get all these workers? And it's like, oh, college. It's
right.
Something like that.
Right. Right. So to me, people ask me when they say I'm homeschooling, one of the very amusing questions I get is, what about college and university? Aren't you worried that your kids are not going to go to college and university? I'm like, maybe when my parents were in the college university years, like in the 80s, maybe it had some semblance of value, maybe, right? And then from there, the tuition started going up, right? And then the value went down. So then me in the 2000s, I went to college. Okay, less value, getting more expensive. Today, more expensive, even less value, mm-hmm. right? It's like this. What's that? Inversely proportional, right? Yeah. So you're paying more, astronomical. People are getting out of college, university with tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of $1,000s in debt, and they have no job, and they have no experience, no real life skills.
They're going and applying at McDonald's with their bachelor's degree, and McDonald's is refusing them in some cases. Like, I've heard stories of people trying, college graduates putting out 300 applications for menial jobs, just common labor
right.
jobs, and not getting hired. And I don't know if that's necessarily a thing. I seem to see now hiring signs everywhere all the time. So I feel like if you want to, start at the bottom and, get enough money to start figuring out, which I feel like anyone can actually do the thing here. It's just you have to be able to motivate yourself. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to take some punches. And it's just, you got to be a self-starter. That's the only way I could do it. Nobody's going to do it for you,
Yeah, you take any kid that is an entrepreneur, right, and started a business. Now, do you think any of those kids went to government school? Do you think any of them? Like think about all the hours wasted, right? A week, right? What, 7 hours maybe in school, right? Maybe 8 hours. Then you get home. Then you got homework, a couple of hours doing homework, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you got a couple of hours you could talk to your family, maybe. Then you got to go sleep, wake up early the next day, do the same thing again. And then on the weekends, after the week of being forced to learn nonsense, irrelevant, minutia, then on the weekends, they don't want to think about anything related to learning or improving themselves. All they want to do is watch TV and dissociate and disconnect, video games and TV, and that's it, Do you think any of those would start a business? If you see a kid that's an entrepreneur, it's pretty much 100% of them are homeschooled. 100%, yeah. Right? Because they have the time, they have the dedication, they have the drive, right, to want to excel and to focus on what they're actually interested in and make a successful business, right? I interviewed a kid, his name is John Luzonis. He wrote a book called Kid Trillionaire, How a Little Kid Can Make a Big Fortune. He wrote this book when he was 12 years old, right? Of course, he's homeschooled. And fascinating case. Interviewed on various talk shows and news agencies, and he was on the streets of Manhattan advertising his book, in person to people. His father wanted him to, work on his ability to persuade and market himself. So he had him do that, just talking to people, trying to persuade them, why should you buy my book, right? Why should I buy this book? So, a very intelligent kid. Now he has gotten a newsletter. He starts various businesses constantly. He's also big into chess. He's got a little chess club, and that's pretty successful.
You said you interviewed him, or you just read his book?
Oh, so we bought his book. He has a podcast. He actually has two podcasts. His first podcast he started when he was like 10, I think. And then his second podcast he started when he was probably like 13, 14.
Yeah.
Immensely successful kid. The father also has also entrepreneur. And so yeah, so that's basically, the way I look at homeschooling is like we're really trying to encourage self-improvement and entrepreneurship and being creative. Like, how can you create value? Like, that's you want to earn an income, right? You got to create value. Forget about the money. Forget about the currency. You have to create value. People have to appreciate what you do. You have to create something that people want to purchase from you, right? Mm-hmm. So I was interviewing a kid, and one of his favorite quotes is, I think it's Warren Buffett. He says, if you want to make $1 billion, you have to figure out how to help 1 billion people. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what business is, right? That's what business is. It's helping people. It's solving problems.
What was this kid's book again, or what was his name?
It's called Kid Trillion. I'll send you a link. I'll send you my interview with him. Check it out. I think you'll love it. And the interview with his father, Dan Luzonis. Great guy. He started his business, this online thing called the Einstein Blueprint, and he kind of helps parents, or he teaches parents how to raise what he calls how to hyper accelerate kids, how to raise child entrepreneurs, kids that are interested in business and economics and marketing and all this kind of pretty cool stuff that you would think that no kid would be interested in, but his book, Dan's book that he wrote at 12, is excellent. It's well written. It's he features a lot of examples of other successful kids, and how they've achieved their success at young ages. So yeah, very inspirational, very inspiring.
Cool. I'll put that on my notes. I'll check it out. I think we can probably wrap it up pretty soon because we're over an hour.
No problem.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, Danilo. We got to set up another match at some point, and I promise to study some more or play some more chess nights so I can fare
It was fun.
better.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, all right, take care.
We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. Alrighty then. There's a bunch of comments which I have not really been able to read. Fabian says, just push recording, go. Yeah. Nigel's back. Lucas, Fabian, Michelle, Robert, Jason Charles. I don't remember seeing a Jason Charles. Are you new? Nick. I don't remember seeing a Nick. Low Hanging Fruit. Shadow Banshee. I think it's relatively new. Candace is back. The only person I voted for was Hillary in 2016 when I was asleep in 18. I apologize, guys. We have been under the system for the weak and botched. The meek had inherited earth. Our time is beginning. I had a science book called The Body Electric that talks about, in the chapter, Maxwell's silver hammer, mind control technology scrambling the brain of a chess player during a chess game. Never heard of that. They control Bitcoin as well. Impossible to shut down the internet. Are you saying that it is possible to shut down the internet, Nigel? Can't this guy see that crypto is being promoted by the system? This guy is we had the conversation in the beginning of the show where he's not thinking about the infinite possibilities that can that this realm could be. He's more of a logical, pragmatic type of person. Precious metals is always promoted by shill channels. Michelle. Why buy the cow when you can get a slave cow for free? Nick says, I owe $30,000 for my communications degree. Yoga crystals, self-help. Yeah. Anywho, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to be done doing shows for the day. And yeah, hope everyone takes care. And we'll probably see you next week. Next week, who is it? The trucker. I forget his name, but he's going to hopefully set his alarm this time. So, yep, take care, people.